الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خير المرسلين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله he almost was never born. The night that he was born, the doctor told his father that he had to make a decision. He had to choose between his unborn child and his wife. This was a long time ago. It was in the early 70s when medicine was not as advanced as it is today. His wife had a condition called preeclampsia. And preeclampsia is a very serious health condition that happens to women who are pregnant. And it's characterized by severe fluid retention, high blood pressure, and it's very dangerous to the mother and to the baby. The young man was not born yet. He was still in his mother's womb, and his father was faced with a extremely challenging decision. The doctor told him that he had to make a decision, that he had to either choose his wife or his unborn child. This was back during the days where you didn't know what the child was going to be. You wouldn't know if it was going to be a girl or if it was going to be a boy. But imagine having to make such a decision. Imagine someone telling you that you have to decide between your wife and your unborn child. While he was in the waiting room, his wife was in the delivery room. After going through a very difficult pregnancy and being very sick, having a lot of fluid retention, she was informed that the doctors were concerned with the placenta detaching from the wall of the uterus. And if the placenta detached from the wall of the uterus, it would mean instant death for the child. Very serious challenge. And this was in the early 70s. And through today, maternal mortality still is extremely high, higher than what is acceptable. And it's particularly high among African American women. And this is what this sister was. So, as the father sat in the waiting room trying to make a decision on his unborn child or his wife, and the mother sat in the delivery room hearing the news that the doctor was concerned that the placenta would detach, they were both faced with a tremendous trial. They were both faced with a tremendous test. The father told the doctor, I can't make a decision. I can't choose my unborn child or my wife. And if my wife is going to die, then she's going to die at home with her children. The sister had 9 children at the time. She was about to deliver her 10th child. And the father said he prepared to take his wife home so she could die with her children. Meanwhile, in the labor and delivery room, the mother said that she patted her baby bump and she said, "These doctors don't know what they're talking about. Only Allah knows." And she told the unborn baby that Allah was going to bless them and they were going to be okay. In the waiting room, the father prepared himself to take his wife home to die, trusting Allah, trusting the test that Allah was putting him through. And he said it wasn't 5 minutes later that he heard the baby crying. And that which seemed improbable became possible. That wasn't the only test that this young man would face. In addition to the potential of not being born, of being predicted to have died before he lived, when he grew older and he played football in high school, he came within 1 inch of losing the ability to have children. But Allah blessed him. Not only did he have this very challenging set of circumstances before he was born, he almost never had children. So Allah blessed him twice in his life. Allah blessed him to be born when he wasn't supposed to be born. And Allah blessed him to have children when he came to within 1 inch of having children. And one more time, actually two more times, he recounts where Allah looked out for him. As a matter of fact, three more times. One time as a kid, he had a staple in his mouth and he almost swallowed the staple. He actually did swallow the staple, and the staple got stuck in his neck and had the potential of suffocating him. And his parents turned him upside down and shook him. And mashallah, the staple fell out. There was another circumstance that was particularly troubling. There was a young kid from the neighborhood that was kidnapped and murdered. They found his body in a field. And the person that did the kidnapping and the murder was following the young man's family around in the store. So Allah blessed him again to live. And then when he was much older and had children, he came very close to having a head-on accident. And as he recounted all the times throughout his life that Allah spared his life, that Allah blessed him to be born when he wasn't supposed to be born, that Allah blessed him to have children when he wasn't supposed to have children, Allah blessed him that he was in three set of circumstances where he could possibly be killed. Allah blessed him to come through all those circumstances. So throughout his life, he saw mercy. And even when it was the most improbable, when he was born, Allah blessed him to live. That takes us to the ayah for today. We're a couple Jews behind. We're in Jews 16. We'll have to catch up. But the ayah for today is about Zakariya and Yahya. It's Surah 19, ayah 2. But before we get to the surah and the ayah, I want to welcome you all. If you're on, please drop a note in the chat. Please give us a like, inshallah. Please share, follow, comment, and the video. If you're seeing us on YouTube, please share, please comment, please like, and also subscribe. We have to work to get this message out and get this message out to a larger audience. And your response helps to do that. So I want to recognize Mahasan Shakur. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for joining us this morning. Dalia Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for joining us this morning. Sister Khadija McElroy, mashallah. Thank you for joining us this morning. Brother Sean Sands, thank you for joining us. Sister Arlene Elamine, who is like a mother for so many of us. Thank you for joining us. Basima Hassan, thank you for joining us. Shai Shabazz, thank you for joining us. And Hakeem Shahid, thank you for joining us. And we appreciate the likes and we appreciate the shares. So this story of this young man who so many times faced perilous set of circumstances and who so many Naima salam alaikum, this young man who faced so many perilous circumstances in his life, and time after time Allah blessed him to have miracles. Brothers and sisters, miracles do happen, and miracles happen to us all the time. And sometimes when you're in the middle of a miracle, you don't realize that you're in the middle of a miracle. We all experience miracles in our daily lives, each and every one of us. And collectively, as a group of people on the planet, the African American Muslim community, in and of itself is a miracle when you look at the history of their history in America. So as we get ready to read this verse, Sister Wahwa Muhammad, thank you for joining us. Allah says, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Dhikru rahmati rabbika abduhu Zakariya." This is a reminder of the mercy of your Rabb to his servant Zakariya. And if you go ahead and you read ayah 3, ayah 4, ayah 5, ayah 6, and ayah 7 of this surah, it's going to explain that Zechariah was getting older. He mentioned the whiteness of his hair, of his beard. He mentioned the whiteness and the grayness of his wife's beard. And he talked to Allah about being not having any children, and also he was concerned with having someone to succeed him in his responsibility, in his spiritual responsibilities, and yet he didn't have an offspring or someone to come after him. And Allah gave him glad tidings of Yahya, and he also points to the uniqueness of Yahya in that particular ayah. So Allah blessing Zechariah and his wife to have a son when they were at an age that it would seem improbable is a sign of the mercy of Allah upon them. And we can take some time and we can talk about the symbolic meaning of this and what this means from a community perspective. In terms of as Zechariah and his wife were aging, he asked Allah to give him an heir, and although it seemed improbable, Allah blessed him with Yahya. As you and I know, Yahya means many times many things. One of the one of the things that Yahya means is life. So this Allah blessing Zechariah and his wife with a child when it seemed improbable is an expression of the mercy of Allah. And it is directly related to the story that we told today. For those who are coming on a little late, go back once we stop the stream, go back and listen to the stream from the beginning, because I tell a story about a young man who was never supposed to be born and who was never supposed to have children, or he came close. I won't say he was never supposed to have children. He wasn't supposed to be born, and he came close to never having children, and Allah blessed him through that. So if you get a chance, go back and listen to it, inshallah. And that leads us right into this verse about Yahya uh, expressing the mercy of Allah upon him when he blessed him with a son when it seemed improbable, and how these stories of miracles in the Quran are real, and that miracles are real, and miracles happen, and miracles can and will happen in each and every one of our lives. And that is part of the expression of the mercy of Allah. And if you take time right now to think back to your life, if you think back through your life, you will be able to remember, inshallah. I believe you will be able to remember a number of times where Allah blessed you when it seemed improbable. Allah blessed you when it seemed like a miracle, because through Allah's mercy, He allows miracles to happen in our life. So our reading today is Surah Maryam, Ayah 2, on expressions of mercy. I want to thank you all for joining us this morning. Abdul Shakur, Assalamu alaikum, and Abdul Hakim Amin Shaheed, Assalamu alaikum. For those of you who've been here on every episode, thank you so much. And if you haven't still, thank you, alhamdulillah, for even for one episode. Thank you for blessing me and honoring me to spend 30 minutes of your non-renewable resource, your time, to join us today. I want to thank everyone who commented. Please comment on the video. Please share, like, follow on Facebook, and share, like, subscribe on YouTube. And until tomorrow morning, inshallah, we'll see you tomorrow morning for episode 19. Thank you so much for joining. It's me, Imam Dr. Wazir Ali, your brother, your friend, and someone who's been on the job, in the struggle for my whole life. Peace be upon you. Assalamu alaikum.